if you look at this assignment, I said file path equals to this. So we have a folder path, like a CSV file. This is an example of how file is stored. This is a directory, this is subdirectory of the other one until you get to the major file. So we have like that file. So the first file is California underscore housing, California underscore restaurant, the CSV, as California underscore store, then slash content slash this California underscore farming, the CSV. Then we have this one, California underscore store dot CSV. Then we have the last one, underscore restaurant. Take note of something here. Here, I say generate a new list called new underscore file underscore path, and let it be California housing. That means there is no CSV there. California farming, there is no .csv there. Don't forget California store, there is no .csv, California restaurant, and there is no .csv. And I would have added that you generate a CSV file, but I think I will take you through how to do that. Then maybe also add length. You generate the length of each element on the list based on what we covered last week. So if you look at this critically, it means here, can someone tell me what you observe in this file path here? Can someone tell me the observation here? Any observation?
Um, I noticed first of all, we have a store coming up twice. That's the store.csv coming up twice. And
Okay,
also restaurant comes up twice. And I was wondering why after the second restaurant, I mean the first restaurant, .csv, why we have double comma. So I was thinking maybe that was an error. So I actually removed it when I was typing my name.
thank you. You're perfect. You're correct. So I intentionally created a multiple elements, just like we did for fruits then in the last
Mm.
previous class. So this was a mistake. So I think I made a mistake while I was, putting this together. So and the intention,
Sorry, just before you go on, I
yeah,
also tried doing something
yeah,
because I remember you told us, when we're doing sets, it's gonna take away the duplicates. So I tried to do sets, but
yeah.
I don't know, it just didn't work out.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. You've been able to give me more information, very, very important information there. You try sets. Because why did you try sets?
Because you've got multiple like restaurant coming up twice, and also we had stock coming up twice.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. That's what I want to hear. So I intentionally, if you see, from what I have there, let me run this my code. Run all. Okay. So if you see here, I've created the list. So I've amended that the comma is no more here now. So this is the file path. So what I did, I don't need to do this, but let me just keep it. This is not necessary now for now, but let me comment it out. But I have a reason for putting it there. So now look at this file path. Now we have this slash this. And if we print this, please, if you have any question, feel free to ask. So if we print this now, we have the lists and we can check the type. Let's check the type of file path. File path. Now, if we check the file, it's list, right? So what I'm expecting everyone to do is you need to look through the file. For file, I showed you this example in file path. Underscore file path. Print, let's print file now. If we print file now, let's see. Can you see each one after the other? That's the first type. So you'll be able, using loop, like I mentioned the other time, for loop, you know, you remember I did that last class. So you will be able to access each element on the list, one after the other. So you can list it. And that's the idea. So if it's only one file path, it's more easier to just grab. But I intentionally created, because this is what you'll be experiencing as a data engineer. You know, you like to, that's why curiosity is very, very important when it comes to data engineering. Logic reasoning. Look at what you're dealing with. How do I deal with this? Why is this situation different? How do I approach it? How do I, what are the steps I have to take in order to get my results? So you do it bit by bit. You'll be making mistakes. It doesn't matter. Then you go back again, then correct it. So the first thing to do is to what? To loop through this file. And if we loop through this file, we'll be able to access each one. And if we have access to that, the next thing to do is, remember, this is file. So let's now what we're interested in is this, right? We're interested in this. We are not interested in this, in this other part. So we're interested in the last elements, but how do we get this last elements? Remember, we have slash here. And last time I taught you how to split. Let's use split. Let me use split file equals to, so file dot split. Remember the splits? So why are we using splits? Why do we need to use splits? Split helps us to generate another list from the current list. Look at this slash slash. If you use a list, if I do print, I'm coming up, print split file. Let's see what we have. Can you see? Let me do this print file. Let me comment it out. Then you see. Can you see? Can you see? Because we're able to use a split. Split is going through each slash and is splitting them by slash. By splitting that, we're able to generate a new element here on the list: contents, sample, elite, path, California.csv. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Brilliant. Now, if we want to get California from this list, how do we do that? Can someone tell me? How do I want to get, if I want to get California underscore housing.csv, California underscore restaurant.csv, California underscore store.csv, California underscore farming.csv, how do I do that? How do I get it and create and have a separate list entirely? Can someone give me a clue? Any volunteer? Adekunle Kazim, do you want to volunteer? Someone says slicing. Why do we need to use slicing? Okay, slicing. Okay, it looks a bit correct, but don't forget, we're only interested in the last element on this list. The last element. How do we grab the last elements? If you were in the class last week, you understand clearly.
I know it's -1.
Brilliant. That is
But
what?
just
Minus
one, yeah,
1.
yeah.
Because I explained, you remember 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I said if we use negative what? List, we
Yes,
do
yeah,
what?
you get the
-1,
-1.
-2. I gave you an example. Let's see now. Let's see the result. Can you see? We're able to grab that. Does that make sense now? And now
Yes,
we have a situation here. Remember in the assignment, I said it should only be California restaurant, no .csv, right? No .csv. So that means we still need to go further and eliminate this. So by doing that, we've been able to grab this. So let's apply another split. And in this case, how do we split? What should we split by?
CSV by .csv.
Yeah, it's .csv. We want to eliminate .csv, right, from here. So, but if we want to split, what is going to be here? Split what? Here we have slash.
-2.
Inside split.
-2.
No, not at all.
No.
Dots.
Dots. Thank you. Who said
Two
dots?
dots, yes.
That's Jamie, right?
Oh,
No.
Violet.
Sorry?
Violet.
Violet. Brilliant, Violet. That's dots. Because we are interested in splitting this into two. Split is like you are dividing something. You're trying to split it. Okay, let's see the results. Can you see it? We have how many? Another one again. Then if we want to grab this last one, what are we going to do here?
One again.
Minus
One
one again. Brilliant.
Yes.
So let's do it. Can you see? And if we are interested in CSV, but if we are interested in the other one, what do we do? Because we only have 2 elements in that list, so we don't need to stress ourselves. We have 2 elements in the list, right? So if we run this, if you see we have 2 elements, so we can just use 0 here. Does that make sense? And we're able to grab what we have here. Does that make sense now?
And
Is
then
it
we
clear?
apply.
Yes.
Brilliant. Now, we have made a very big progress. Now, the next step to do is that, remember in the assignment, I said you create a separate list entirely. And how do we now go forward from here? That's the question. And for us to move on and, be able to create this list from what we had here, we have to create an empty list. We have to create an empty list. So in this case, let me call the empty list a new file. And I will say it's empty. Can you see here? New file, empty. So wherever we have been able to play around here, we want to make sure we append it here. So let's do it. So we can do new underscore file dot append. Then we pass in what? Split underscore file. Remember append. I taught you append. I touched append last week when I was, I was doing a list that you can append to a list, element to a list. And I mentioned about immutable tuple, you won't be able to do that, but for list, you'll be able to do that. I explained this. If you go back to that video, you will understand. So now we've been able to append this. So let's see the results. If we append this, let's see our new results. So if I go to the next line, wherever I've appended, let's run it. I've appended this now. So let's see our append. Let's see new file. So we can do new underscore file. I always prefer to use print around it, because Google Colab will allow you to run new underscore file without print. Can you see? Can you see we have a new list? Does that make sense now? Is it
Yes.
difficult? Is it straightforward? If I give you another assignment related to this,
it's a bit complicated, but yeah.
Why is it complicated with the steps? That means you didn't watch last week's video. If you watched it, you will be able to find it more easier.
No, I watched it.
You did not.
I actually watched it.
You quickly
I watched it, and that's why I was able to tell you that you have to do sets,
Oh,
to
you
it,
said that. That's
you
good.
have multiples, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You did. That's very, very good.
Yeah.
A very good point. Yeah. So you see, we've been able to create a list. We could maybe also take this further from where we are now. Let's say, for example, you remember I talked about length last week. Okay. You know what? I will give you another assignment. We'll continue from here. Then please, I expect you to submit, if possible, if you have time on Monday, forward it. It's still part of the assignment for last week. You understand? So, or maybe for next week, I will give you another assignment. It's going to be a continuation of this, and I want you to. The idea about the assignment is that I want you to create another list counting the name, the elements, and the number of well, alphabet that we have here. Let's say, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I would like you to create a CSV file that shows that shows the length of this, the length of this, the length of this, the length of this, the length of this. So remember dictionary, I taught you key and value. So I want you to use the knowledge to create a CSV file where you have 1 second. Let me see if I have that CSV file here. 1 second. You remember this CSV file? So I want you to create something similar to this CSV file where you will have this. So under it, if we follow the instruction here now, this one will be, oh, okay. This one will be 1 second. So this one will be a new column entirely under the CSV. So it's going to be like a new column entirely like this. So I will give you the assignment, you do that, but okay, I think it's great. Oh, brilliant. Why is it hiding? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, so you should be able to have like a CSV file here. So I think I'm unable to copy, but let's do it this way. So the idea about the assignment is for you to have this. I think this one makes sense. Let me copy from here. Copy this. Okay. So copy this. Oh, brilliant. So now, oops. So I'm not saying you should do it manually. You have to write a code. So this one is going to be, maybe we say California, let's say California, or I would say you can name it. What name should I give? Just give it a name, maybe name and length. Just give it, then you count wherever you have here. If it's 9, like this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This one should be 18, right? This one should be 18. Then this one should be how many, California? Then you do it like that, but you're not going to do it manually. So you do it, you create a CSV. And after doing that, I would love you to also do this. You split by this. You split by California, this, and you will have housing here. You have housing here. You have California store here. This one will be California being repeated. Then here we have farming, farming, farming here. Oh, this is restaurant, sorry. This is restaurant, so this should be restaurant. Restaurant, brilliant. So like that. So I'll be expecting you to do that. Then this one is store. So we don't need store repeated. Oh, I think I didn't do something when I completed. Oh, sorry. When I completed that task, I would like to maybe add 1 or 2 lines there. I would like to add 1 or 2 lines there. Remember, you mentioned set the other time. You mentioned set, right? Now, we have to apply set because if you see this California, we see housing still being store repeated, restaurants still being repeated. So we've been able to get this. So let's go further here. I think I forgot to explain that. So we would like to drop a duplicate because we have a duplicate, multiple elements on that list. So how do we do that? Let me do drop duplicates, drop duplicates equals to lists. Then if you look at that list, and we have new what underscore file. So So, yeah, sorry. We have sets, not lists, because it's already list. So we are dropping duplicate using what? Sets. If we run this one and check this, let me use drop duplicate list. Okay, if we run this one now and we check our new sets now, we could say lists, then sets. Now, and let's do drop duplicates. Drop underscore duplicates list. So it's giving us, let's run it. You will see that we don't have the duplicate anymore because we've been able to apply what? Sets. Does that make sense? We've been able to apply sets. We've been able to apply sets. Any questions so far? Okay.
Sorry,
So,
sorry.
yeah,
My question now is, because now you've called this job duplicate, but that's not the name of the file. It's meant to be new file.
okay.
So
If you want me to use new file, brilliant. That's a good one. So let's do new underscore file, right? Already we have new file here, right? So let me change this let me do new file hard, right? So let me do this one, new file hard, so that we stick to that name. Then I'll pass in new file hard here. Then so that I can name this one as new file based on the criteria. That's it. Then we're done. Oops, okay, let me run it again. Yes, so let me run the code again from beginning to the end. Okay, something is wrong somewhere. Oh, I've seen it. New file hard is there. So can you see how I'm able to spot that? So then we should be fine now. That's it. There you go. Is that perfect now? So you see, we've been able to name it as new file based on the criteria. You know, and I'm happy that you pointed that out because imagine you're working on a project. There is a requirement. If you've been able to go through BA class, business analysis class, you have user story, you're expected to do this so that, uh, you know, I as a data engineer, I want to do this so that this and that. Then you list the acceptance criteria. This might be one of the acceptance criteria. You have to use new file. Now, I made a mistake by using another name. That means I didn't meet the criteria of that particular project. And I'm happy that, can you see how they are connected together, data engineering and the business analysis, and they are a bit connected because as a data engineer, you have to know, you have to create tickets, Jira ticket, user story, and list all the criteria that you have to follow in order to complete a project. And when you complete this project, you have somebody to QA it. That's where the software testing comes in. So there will be a tester that will go through whatever you have written. If it's perfect, just like you did now, you are a tester. You pointed out an error in this code that, oh, we expected to use new underscore file. That means you've been able to correct something. Then from there, I, as a data engineer or a developer, say, oh, thank you for pointing this out. I will now go and correct it. And I will send it back to you that could you please go through this code again if I've met all the criteria as listed in the tickets. Does that make sense?
it makes sense. And
Yeah.
also it's still not complete because it's new underscore file underscore path.
Underscore path.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. You see, now that's brainstorming. I love this. Now, so new underscore file underscore path. So in this case, I can intentionally now put underscore path here. Then we should be fine with our new criteria. Then I'll put underscore path here, and we are going to be good. That's it. You're a good tester. Yeah, that's fine. So we've been able to meet all the criteria listed as part of the assignment. So let's go to the next part of the class. Do you have any questions so far? Any question at all?
I'm just wondering, the assignments that would you still send us the assignment details or what you've explained now that we should try to work on?
Yeah, trust
The
me, I'm going
questions.
to
Are you going to send the questions back to us as you did in the previous session?
Yes, I will update the PDF file that I sent to you. It will include
Okay.
this first one. Or alternatively, what I will do is that I will update this particular slide and send it as PDF. I will include the assignment at the bottom. So I will put it there, then you follow the steps, then you know what to do.
Okay. So at the end of the day, we have something you showed on the Excel, like the name of the city, what they do, maybe the occupation and whatever. That's
Yes,
what we'll generate at the end of the day on
yes, you
Excel.
generate exactly. You generate a CSV file, and I want to see the sample of CSV file when you generate the file. So I expect the CSV, if you have access to Google Colab, I expect you to be able to download the CSV file from this environment under context and stuff. But I will give the details.
All right,
list the
thank you.
criteria. You're welcome.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry, I remembered also in the last class, I think you were gonna give us the Excel file that had the name, LA name.
Yeah.
There's something about giving that to us. Yeah.
Okay. I will forward that one across also. I will send that one via Google Drive. Then I will give you permission to download it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, just before we move on,
Yeah.
you know why I said this was a bit confusing is this, because for you, all these things are pretty straightforward because you've done it over and over. Yes, we'll probably get there over time. When you look at, you see where it says 35, I think it's option 35 or something, you'll notice it says for far. At what point do you use, languages like for far? Because I think, yes, you used it last week. But when we're doing the assignment, at no point did I think, I was going to use for file and file path.
That's good.
So I need to understand when we need to use it, and yeah.
Brilliant. I love that question. And we are going to use it soon. Like I said the other time, we finished with data structure last week, but coincidentally, along the way, I had to use an example of CSV file and give you more details about how this is applicable in the commercial environment. Because I don't want it to be more elementary, but I want you to see that the hands-on, way of dealing with this if you are working, if you are doing some task like this at work. So but along the way, for loop came in. But for loop is part of what we're going to cover in this class. Like I said, today we're going to cover, last week we covered data structure, we covered list, dictionary, we covered set, tuples, and today we are going to focus on loop and iteration. Loop and iteration. So that's today's class. Does that make sense now? So don't worry, you'll be able to you understand it clearly. But now that I've used it, by the time I explain all this, you will understand it better. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, so let's go to the next section, which is loop and iteration. I'm going to save this just for record purpose, then I'll update it. So I'm going to create a new notebook entirely. Do I have to create a new notebook? I might not need to create a new notebook. Um, 1 second. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 1 second. Let me just get the global nitration. 1 second. I'm coming. Let me get that one. Okay. So we're going to cover, we're going to be covering conditional statements and loop and iteration. Hopefully, we should cover that today. 1 second now. Yeah, I've got that ready now. I think I have. Oops, sorry. Where are you? Where are you? Why are you hiding? Okay. Come in, my stuff is hiding somewhere. Okay. Where are you? Okay, yeah, okay, there you go. Okay. Now, we have loops and iteration. So I'm going to cover that today. Then, okay, here you go. So today, we're going to focus on conditional statements, loop, and iteration. But the first part is going to be conditional statement, if you can see here. In a conditional statement, look at it this way. Before you join this data engineering class, I guess you registered for SOM class, and peradventure, if you didn't register, maybe somebody, played a trick and gave you a link, and you were able to find your way, on this platform. Yeah, so, but you were able to get it from somebody. Without that link, you won't be able to join the Zoom, join via Zoom and, attend this class. That's if statement there. There's an if statement that if you didn't get this Zoom link, you won't be able to join. I won't be able to attend data engineering section. That is it. If you are able to get the link, you will be able to join. But there is a condition also. You intentionally, if they give you link, you can decide. You have a choice. I don't want to join, and I would like to join. But at least you have the key to joining the class, which is the Zoom link. Without the Zoom link and the permission given to you by the SOM admin, you won't be able to join the class. So now, 1 second. I think I'm having issue with this user link. Okay. Yeah, so you won't be able to join the class. I think someone asked, let me just check a few questions. Nice and okay. Some people, okay. Yeah, we've been able to answer that. So that's the idea about conditional statements. So if a condition is not fulfilled, you won't be able to take another step. For example, you want to get admission, you want to study data engineering. Where in some cases, might not even need to maybe study data engineering. You might be fortunate to be on a project and you want to transition to data engineering and you learn at work. But in this situation, let's say you don't have experience of data engineering, like you join this class now. If you don't join this class, you won't understand the keywords, the terms that are needed when it comes to interview for you to get a job in data engineering space or data analysis. The reason is, for example, you face an interviewer and they ask you some question. What is list? What is set? How do you do it? And they give you an example like, could you please share your screen, show us how to solve this problem? And you're unable to do it, you're not going anywhere. Does that make sense? So, but because of the knowledge you have gathered here, it means you know what to do and how to explain something related to list, dictionary, set, and tuples. So if an interviewer asks you question, if I know how to, if I know about lists, I will be able to tell the interviewer that, oh, this is the definition of list. If not, I won't be able. So it's like a condition. So in this, our case now, we have a divisor and what? A dividend. So we're trying to create a calculator now. So what I have here is about calculator. It's about doing some calculation, and we need to create a condition in order to do calculation. For example, let me type calculator here. 1 second. Calculator. Now, look at this calculator. One divided by 2, 0.5. 2 divided by 4, 0.5, right? But if I go further, I say 2 divided by 0, what do you get? Cannot be divided by 0. Can you see? There's a limitation to what this calculator can do, because anything you divided by 0 is what? Infinity. It goes to 0, 0, 0, it goes to billions, like it's uncountable, infinite decimal for the mathematician in the house. I did a bit of mathematics. Yeah, so you know, you cannot divide by 0. You cannot divide by 0. There's a limitation. So, and in order for us to capture this condition so that we'll be able to calculate this. So if you see this calculator, it says cannot divide by 0. You know, wherever we are doing it, that's what this calculator is also doing. In the back end, it's doing the calculation, maybe by Python or wherever code that is being written to do this calculation. So here, the statement is cannot divide by 0 because we divide by 0. In order to prevent, we now want to capture that condition. We now said if divisor is what we are using to divide, you know, we have numerator and denominator, right? So the divisor is what? Is it numerator or denominator? The mathematicians in the house?
I think it's the denominator.
Denominator. Thank you. So denominator, because we are using it to divide. This is the numerator. The dividend is the numerator, while the divisor is the denominator. Brilliant. So the denominator, we expect the denominator not to be 0. That's why we put if the divisor is not equal to 0. So any condition here means that it must not, this denominator must not be 0, so that we will not have this error called cannot divide by 0. So we have to fulfill that condition. So now we have a print statement here. Print, please, you're familiar with print. Please enter 2 numbers to divide. Dividend, which is the numerator. Int, we converted it to int. Input, so we're going to pass this input in. Then we have a divisor, which is the denominator. Int, integer is converting it to integer. Wherever you input here, will be converted to integer. Then we set a condition that if this divisor, which is the denominator in this case, if it's not equal to 0, then this calculation should be correct. So let's run this. Brilliant. So it should ask us some question. We have, please enter the first number to divide. Please enter the first number, which is what? The numerator. Let's do 2. Enter. It's asking me another question. Enter the second number to divide, which is what? Denominator. Let me use 2. Enter. What's the answer? 2 divided by 2 is what? 1. So we're able to get 1, just like the calculator that we have here. So if we do 2 divided by 2, we have the same thing as what? 1. Can you see the answer there? Is what? 1. Can you see there? 1. So this Python code is doing whatever the calculator is doing here. So you can use your Python code to create a calculator. Now, that's it. So let's run again. Let's say 2. So if divisor is not this, brilliant. Let's say 2 divided by 0. Now, in this case, we want to use 0. What do you have? Is it showing anything?
No.
No. Do you know the reason?
No.
Is there any reason for that?
Yes. The condition is not met.
It's not met. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's who. Let me. That's Jamie. Is he? Sorry.
Abidemi.
Abidemi. Thank you. That is it. The condition is not met because we set a condition that if the divisor, which is the denominator, is not equal to, if it's not equal to 0, that means if it's not equal to 0, it could be 1, 2, 3, from 1 above, greater than 1. Or maybe, greater than 0. I will say greater than 0 because it could be 0.1, right? 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. But in this case, if we want to account for 0 points, I would rather put this one as what? Floats. I will convert this one as floats. And let's run it. Let's see. So let's say 2. Brilliant. 3. And what do we have? Can you see? It's accounting for what? Floats. Because we've been able to convert it to float here. So float will help us to capture anything in decimal. So now, let's say let's run this again. We have 2, and the numerator is 0.00001, right? What did you see? Can you see that? That's what? 200 million?
200.
200 million. Thank you. 200 million. Because remember, we only set a condition that if it's not equal to 0, but 0.0001 is still greater than what? 0. Until this is 0. So if I run this and let's say 2 and I put 0 here, then there will be an issue. Condition is not met. So how do we now deal with this situation? How do we make sure that this condition is met? That takes us to else. If else. If else. So we have to rewrite this particular Python script to capture the other condition not being met. Now, if divisor is not equal to 0, that means could be 0 point something something. Let's convert this one to floats. I want to make sure that we capture what is right as much as possible. You could use integer if you are not using decimal point. So now, if this is not equal to 0, that means this will be met. Else, if it's equal to 0, error due to divisor by error, something. So let's do 5 divided by 0. We have cannot divide by 0. So let's copy this one. Let's put it as our message here. Just like the calculator, cannot divide by 0. So let's run this now. Let's do it. 5. Here we did 5, right? Okay. 5. Let's say 5. Then let's do 0 there. What are we getting? Cannot divide by 0.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
The print where you put cannot divide by 0, can we put true or false as our to bring the condition that if is cannot divide should be false? Can we put the statement there?
Which one? Sorry.
Where you put print cannot divide by 0, can we put true or false as
Cannot.
the condition for the statement there? If it cannot divide, should bring false instead of that.
She
Is it-
meant the output.
Is it the output? Yes.
Yes, but it's not readable because you have to be very clear
Okay.
what you are going to use, either true or false. We know it's true here, the condition is met, and
Okay.
it's false here, but we need, when you are writing code, you have to write the code in such a way that other people will understand.
Okay.
If they don't understand how to write code at all, but if you use false true, they're like, what's the meaning of false? What's the meaning of true? So you
Okay.
have to make it clear to other people that, okay, when they see this, oh, okay, cannot divide by a 0. That means, oh, this is the reason. But if you just
Okay.
put true or false, you only understand true or false as an engineer, as a data engineer or
Okay,
analyst.
sir.
Yes. So it's better to make it more readable. For example, non-technical stakeholders.
Okay, sir.
Yes, thank you. Now, so can you see cannot divide by 0? So we've been able to modify the if statement to capture the else.
Sorry,
So
just before you go on, the slash there, that's
yeah,
dividend slash. What does this indicate there? Is it division or
yeah, that's the divisor. I'm
okay?
coming. I'm coming 1 second. Let's do if you run this one, let's say 5, 6, 2. What do you have there? So you have this, right? So this is giving us what here, the result here. You see this result is here. This is the equal sign. This is divisor, like normal division. So this is just a statement to show what you have as numerator, what you have as denominator, can you see? And what you
Yeah.
have as a sign, then the normal result here equals, which is here. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you. So now, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. You could also play around this code, but I don't want you to make it complicated. Sometimes when you want to write code, you could make it more friendly, but a bit tricky, just to reduce wherever, wherever you are writing. I could maybe do, don't let us take it further. Don't worry. Let's just stick to this the way it is, because you are just trying to learn, how to use all these conditional statements. So now, so this is how it should be. Now, I've been able to clear if and else statements. If and else statements. Now, so that one is done. For example, I've given more details about the if and else statement. For example, let's say you want to get admission to university. What do you need? You need some, to have, like, for example, in Nigeria, you need to have like a West African school certificate, National Examination Council, and some other O-level results. Without those conditions being met, you won't be able to gain admission into university. And there's some other criteria, like maybe English requirements or mathematics, depending on the course. So all this could be like a condition. So if you are able to fulfill this condition, let's say you pass your maths and English, or you want to go for a science class, you pass like maybe 2 subjects in science, then you'll be able to get admission in this particular course. So that is if you make it more, look at your environment, see how those if statements are applicable, then it will give you more understanding of if and if at the conditional statement, when to use it. And when you are working, you'll be able to think logically that, okay, if this is this, how do I now interpret it? Then from there, you'll be able to break things down. Now, I have another a conditional statement called nested condition. Nested condition. Now, let me give you a real example of nested condition. Some of you, I guess some of you, if not all, might have experienced, calling customer care. You have this experience of calling customer care. I'll say, okay, welcome to this, and this, to reach maybe technical department, press 1. If you want to do this, press 2. This, press 3. That's an example of a conditional statement. If you click on 1, it's going to direct you to another place. If you click on 2, it is going to direct you to another section of the organization for you to speak with one of the customer cares or anyone. Then that's how it works. That's an example of a condition. A conditional statement. In this case, it's similar to a nested condition. Sometimes when you click on 1, it will tell you when you get to the next step, to reach out to so place, press 1. Then when you press 1, it will take you to the next step. If you want to reach out to maybe so person, press 1 again. If you want to reach out to another person, press 2. After clicking, it will keep giving you press 1, press 2, press 1, press 2, or press 3. If you want to go back to the initial position, press 0. Otherwise, press hash. You know, all those stuff, they are all conditional statements. In this case, it's applicable to what? It's similar to nested conditions. Nested conditions. Now, I want to give an example of nested condition here. So here we have a norm. So we want to input a value. Remember, we are doing input. This one helps you to input a value. Like you are doing your normal, if you are using ATM, you are pressing your PIN code. Pam, pam, pam. That's how it works. That's why you have input here. So you pass in the value, then you'll be able to do whatever you want to do. And that was what we did here. You pass in the value to this, and we're able to get 6 and 0, 2, and we're able to get 3. So now, if norm, we have a nested condition. So we have a number here. So this number is between 0 and 90. Let's say 90 or 99. Let me use 99. 99. So if it's 99, we want to set a condition where we're able to capture when the value is greater than 0. And also, if it's greater than 0, we want to capture a range of values from 0 to 99. Anything above 99 must be counted as out of range. Anything below 0 must be counted as less than 0. And anything between 0 and 99 should be captured separately as in range. That is what we want to capture here. So if norm, whatever number that we input here, if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, then a condition must be fulfilled that it must be what? Greater than 0. What numbers are greater than 0? In this case, remember, it's an integer. Integer does not have a decimal point. Integer does not have a decimal point. Integer is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All numbers.
Yes, all numbers. Thank you. So, but when you have a decimal point, you're talking about 0.1, 0.2, 1.3, if it has points. So we want to capture only integer here, integers. So we have a condition here that says norm must be greater than 0. So what is greater than 0 is from 1, 2, 3, and above. If this condition is met, move to the next stage. The next stage is if this norm that we want to capture must be what? Less than 99. We can say less than or equal to. I think it makes sense to use less than or equal to because we want to capture this 99. But if we are interested in only range, then we remove this. Remember when we did range, you won't be able to, in range, you don't capture the last number, right? If I'm correct. So
Yes,
now,
you are correct.
brilliant, thank you. So we covered range last week. So now you see the second check is to ensure that we capture a number that is less than 99. What is less than 99? 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, and so on. Backward. Now, then we want to print in range. So here is just a statement in string. You see I capture it in string and I pass in wherever value that we are inputting here. So if we are able to fulfill this criteria, these two nested conditions, if number one, if second, if, then we are able to print out. We'll be able to print out. Sorry, 1 second. We'll be able to print out wherever we have. Yeah, so we'll be able to print out wherever we have there. Now, let's go on. Any questions so far? Any
Yes.
question? Thank
Yes.
you.
You see, when you wrote twins in range,
Yeah,
then you had a comma and you had num.
yeah.
I'm trying to understand, why do we have the num? Why do we have it like, have num after the in range instead of just in range?
Okay, that makes sense. I love that question. There's something called Puchmuchka. That means we have a curious team. Curiosity. It's good to be curious. Now we're learning from that. Now, look at this. The norm here is wherever you input the input that comes from here. And this condition is testing if it's greater than 0 and if it's less than 99. If it is, then we're going to capture the results here. So this in range is equivalent to like a string. You are just writing a statement, just like we write a statement. Okay, let me run this one. Let me show you an example. Look at this statement. Can you see the inverted comma? Please enter an integer in the range of 0, 99. Can you see this? This inverted comma here is just a statement, just like this. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah.
So it's not doing anything, it's just writing a statement and it's capturing the value that you type here. So let's say if we type, remember this condition now. So I'm explaining this first part of the condition. If I write 2, 2 means the 2, which is the norm. Remember, is norm. 2 is now norm. We are now saying norm is equal to 2. Now, is 2 greater than 0?
Yes.
Yes.
Brilliant. If it's greater than 0, let's go to the next step. Is 2 greater than 99?
Less
No,
than.
less than 99.
Oh, sorry, it's less than 99, right?
Yes.
So we're able
Yeah.
to fulfill this condition. What do you think we're going to print out here?
In range.
In range.
In range. So let's click on it. Let's press it. Can you see? In range as a statement, in range
Mm.
2. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So this is just like you are printing something out. So there's nothing special there. I can change it. I can change it to wherever. Okay, so we have been able to capture this first condition. So we are trying to think deeply that, okay, we could have values from greater than 0, but in this case, what if the value is greater than 99? So we now capture else here that, if it's less than 99 here, there is possibility that, we want to make sure we capture the bug in your code. That's part of a tester, a software tester. If you've gone through, a testing class, it's just for you to be pessimistic, to be curious that what if something goes wrong? What if we didn't fulfill all the conditions? So in this case, as a tester, as a tester, let's say, for example, as a data engineer, I didn't capture this particular part of the code. Or I wrote a code this way. You understand? And I ran the code like this. And I put 100 here. Am I able to see the error?
No.
You
No.
won't be able to see the error. So let's say, for example, you've designed this code in such a way that I was like, oh wow, this is perfect. It's doing very great job. Oh, look at that. I put 88. I'm able to capture 88. Look at it. My result is coming out. You feel so happy. But what if somebody just input 1 million? And you'll be wondering that you're not getting results. Ooh. But you've not been able to carry out testing on this code to ensure that you are able to capture all the criteria. Does that make sense? You are
Yes,
unable
it
to
does.
capture all the criteria needed for this code to perform very, very well. So as a data engineer, this particular issue is called bug. Bug. They call it bug. So this is a bug in your code. A bug in your code because you're unable to capture other conditions. So which leads to the failure of the software or application that you are designing. So that's where we have a quality tester, a software tester, to ensure that the codes are working as expected and all the conditions are fulfilled. So in case of testing, you see you always go for a negative testing. You want to see why, if I send this value, it's going to fail. Like in our case, we intentionally put 100. What happened? The code failed. So you have to go back to the developer and the data engineer, say, no, this code failed because of this. Oh, data engineer will say, oh, that's a bug in the code. Let me go back and rewrite my code to capture other condition that has not been fulfilled. Now, when we finish, then we'll go back to QA again, quality testing again, to check if it's perfect. If it's perfect, then we can say, okay, this particular task is completed. Can you see all the business analysis class, software testing class, and data engineering class? They are a bit interwoven. So it's very, very important for you to also understand, few things related to business analysis, maybe testing a bit, that will help you. But it doesn't mean that you can't be a very good data engineer. It doesn't mean you can learn while you're at work and, build on that. Now, let's continue. So we saw that the condition failed. That means there's a bug. So in order for us to account that for that bug, we put S. Else means is going, this if and else they go together. So if is greater than 99, if is less than 99, that means S is capturing greater than 99. Does that make sense? So if norm is less than 99 here and we're getting our results, whenever you see S, is opposite of the condition that you have under if. So that means this one is saying is what? Greater than or equal to 99. Because the condition here is saying it must not be 99, it must be 98. So even if you put 99 here, it's going to fail. Look at it. Can you see? But
Yes.
because we put this condition, let me highlight it. Let me highlight it. You see, if we put 99 here, can you see? What is it giving me? Okay, it's because maybe I didn't run. Okay, say please enter this. Okay, 99, let's see. Can you see? It's only showing, well, what is it showing?
99 is out of range.
Yeah, it's out of range because
Yeah,
it's
but it
just
didn't
showing
say
us here.
because yeah.
Yeah. So if we add this code now, let me add let me do this one now. Oh, sorry. Let me uncomment this. Then you will see, look at it now. If we put 99, it will tell us what? Not in range,
Not in
larger
range.
than 99. Does that make sense? If, or larger or greater than or equal to, let's do to cover the statement very well. That's a bug again. Greater than or equal to 99. Is that clear?
Yes, yes. It's
Brilliant.
clear.
So because it's greater than or equal to 99. So this condition here is equivalent to when you write this greater than or equal to. Brilliant.
Before I come back.
So please, can you, if you are not contributing to the class, please try and mute yourself while you are talking, please. Thank you. So let's go on. Now look at this. But we don't need to account for this condition because already else statement will capture it automatically. We don't need to be writing it. Only if we have some other few conditions that we need to fulfill that has not been accounted for. So if we run this and we put 99, we know it's now going to tell us greater than or equal to. Now, there's another condition because something could be less than 0. if here we expect it to be greater than 0 and all these conditions are met. But what if it's less than 0? So that's where the else statement at the bottom comes in. To say, okay, if it's less than 0, else, then print this less than 0. So let's try that. Let's do -2, which is less than 0. What do you see? Not in range. Num less than what? 0. Is that clear?
Yes, yes, it's clear.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Now let's go on. So
Sorry, just before we go on, I just want to clarify. Everything in green there, the machine is not going to take notes of them, right?
sorry, can you repeat that?
Everything in green, everything you put in green, where you put the hashtag,
Yeah,
the machine is not going to take notes of them, right?
brilliant. Thank you.
Comments.
The is a comment. When it comes to
Okay.
coding, is a comment. For example, you want to, like, I said something the other time. Let's say you are dealing with non-technical stakeholders, or even if they are not if they are technical, but they are not really clear about the code you have written, but you would like to give more information about what you just did. You understand? Like, oh, this code is doing this. Is to make it more readable so that other people will relate and understand. So if it requires maybe modification after you've left a project, sometimes you work on a project, and when you finish that project, you are not on that project anymore. Another person will take over, maybe to improve the code. Does that make sense? So it's more advisable for you to leave a blueprint that, okay, sometimes you include your name in that project, as in you had your name. Then also you make some comments. When you are writing the code, write a comment, what you have done to do this, then you put this hash there. So it won't affect the code, but it will be read as a statement, a comment. Does that make sense?
Yes. It makes sense.
Brilliant.
Thank you
So
very much.
that's
Hello.
where we
Also,
yeah,
Okay, hello.
also,
Okay.
also, if you notice, we talked about the num, the prints in range. Okay. But when we get to else, I noticed there's num in prints not in range, num less than 0, but in not in range greater than or equal to 99, the num is in there. Is there a reason?
Oh yeah. I can decide to add that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I can put num here if I want. It's still
Okay.
the same. Yeah, it's just a statement. You remember, it's just a statement. We're printing it out. It looks
Yeah.
similar to this comment, but not a comment, because this comment, this one is going to print out as part of the code. So it's a
Okay.
statement, but it is also a statement, but you are capturing the real value from here. That's why you see we pass in num directly. In this case, we are not passing in num. If I want to pass in num here now, I could do this. Seconds. It's not picking up, but okay, yeah. So let me do this. Can you see? So if I want to capture that num there in this statement, so that, let me see, let me show you this now. So this will print the num out. Okay. So let me just put this around that. I will capture that num. So if I do this now, equal to, so let me put 99, it's going to show 99 twice. Can you see? 99, that's the num that we're passing here. 99 greater than or equal to what? Does that
99
make
there.
sense? Can you see it's greater than or equal
Yeah.
to? So it's still equal to 99. So in this case, if I do less than, let's say -20, so it's going to tell me in range, -20 is less than what? 0.
Okay.
Yeah. So is that clear?
Yeah, it is clear.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
All right. I've always noticed that every comment starts with an hash. at the
Okay.
front. Yeah. Why do we normally have hash in front of comments?
I think somebody just asked that question now, which I answered.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody asked question.
I didn't ask it in the same way, but I think I understand what you're saying. It's just it's a comments, it's a comments which we're trying to let non-technical team understand. So because it's a
Yes.
comment, that's why the hashtag is there.
Yeah,
That's
because
what
I
So
makes it. That's what makes it a comment. And
comment,
it
yes, sir.
when
it will not
the
it will not
ashes.
interfere in the code
at all.
at
Yes.
all.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It won't.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So the major reason for you having comments is for you to maybe give more information about the code you have written when a non-technical person is interacting with your code or checking, or a technical person, doesn't matter. So comments is very, very important. Try as much as possible when you are writing, don't just write code for you to get results, but add the comments
Okay.
to
Thank
tell
you.
the person that, oh, this code is doing this code is doing this. If I like, I can put a comment here. It's still going to work.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Thank you. Thank
you're
you.
welcome. So if I do anything here, but it's better just put a comment as you are going along one after the other when you are writing your code. Okay, so let's go on. Now we've been able to cover nested condition, and I gave an example of when you are making a phone call. Now, what if you are calculating a result? You are calculating a result. Like you want to generate, imagine you have 1 million students in the class, and the lecturer has already, the lecturer has to like mark like 1 million students' results. Or let me do it this way. We have lecturers marking results, and you have to collate everything and generate like a certificate. Like, and we have, let's say we have 1 million students in total, and you are expected to maybe generate results of students, include their names, and print it out, then send it to them. Python could make things more easier for you when it comes to generating all these results, then updating it on the certificate and printing it out. What if you make the whole process automated? When the files results are released, you just capture wherever you have the results, map it to the name of the students, generate if they have distinction, if they have second class upper, second class lower, and and print it on their certificate, and just automate everything, and you print the whole 1 million result out once at the same time. So Python will be able to help you to do that by using this conditional statements. So you will see here you have multi-way decision statements, multi-way decision statements. So what this is doing is checking several with if statement and else if statement. If statement and else if statement. So here in this case, we're trying to capture the if statement, and the if statement is if maybe someone inputs, or someone, should I say, okay, let me give just a general example in this case. Let me leave the result aspects. Let's focus on this, then we'll go on with the results. So this if statement, we want to capture an integer in the range of 0 to 5. We write if, we want to capture, because we want a range of 0 to 5. And in the case of range from 0 to 5, we want to print less than 0. If it's less than 0. Less than 0. So if this is less than 0, this, then else if this, then you continue with the statements. Then from here, you'll be able to print done. So let's try this. let's put 1. So it's going to check if it's 1, enter, then you have 1. So because I put, if you check under 1, I put 1 here. I can decide to modify this and say the value is 1. Does that make sense? So if I run this one now and put 1, I'm going to get the value is 1. The value is 1. The value is 1. Let me run it again just to make it more clearer. The value is 1. Can you see the value? Oh, sorry, the value is 1. Set values. So the value is 1. That's it. So the value is 1. So if we check, if we input 2 again, so go to 2. If it's 2, it's going to do 2. If it's 3, it's going to go to 3. If it's 4, it's going to go to 4. If it's 5, it's going to go to 5. And if it's 6, it's going to go to 6. Does that make sense? Does that make
Yes.
sense? Okay.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm.
So,
Sorry, I have a question too. I have a question. Now,
yeah,
if the range is about 100, are we going to be doing it separately like that till when we get to 100?
I love your question. I love your question. And I love that question so much. And I will tell you why. If it's up to 100, sometimes, that question is lovely. Let me see how I can answer that question clearly. 1 second. Okay. Okay. In this case, you could modify this. Okay, I think I will explain an example in a minute. Let's say, for example, let me use another example. Let's use, okay, let's use this. I'm going to change this value, right? Let me use day number. Already we know day number is from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to what? Saturday, right? So we expect our values to be between 0 to what? 7. Am I correct? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Brilliant. So I can decide to say if day number, wherever we put there, and I want to use that to answer your question, is equal to, we expect it to be 1, right? I will modify this. Or let me not modify it. Let me keep this record. Let me keep this record so that we won't alter whatever we've done. So let me put this one here, put this one back as normal, right? So let's change this one to day number. If it's equal to 0, 0, if it's equal to, I'll be repeating this one after the other. Replace the number. Please don't copy and paste like me. This is a lazy way of writing code, but because of this, just to speed things up, you understand clearly. So, yeah. Now, so we have day number. Let's say this is print Monday. Let's say this is day number 1. Day number 1. Number. Okay, so let me delete this. Number 2. Let's say this is Monday. This is Tuesday. This is Tuesday. Please, when I'm doing this, if you're not clear, let me know. So if let's say this is Wednesday. Let's say this is Thursday. say this is Friday. And let's see, we're gonna be having other days. And I think we have Saturday and Sunday. So if we have Saturday, and if we have Sunday, so 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 4,
And the
5,
party shape
6, 7. Sorry? This is 8. No,
We don't need the
seven.
last one.
You don't need the last one yet. Thank you. So we can say else this, say this invalid number. Invalid day underscore number. Okay, so now let's play. I want to answer your question, the last question you asked. So let's say we have this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now I put 2. What is it saying? It's Tuesday. Same Tuesday, right? 2 is Tuesday. Yeah, from here. But in some cases, you have numbers from 1 to 1 million. Or, like you said, you have numbers to what?
To like 100.
100. Brilliant. You remember your range.
Yeah.
So what do you do with your range?
You give me the condition.
You set a condition for range
Set
from
condition for it. Okay.
1 to what?
200.
Yeah, to maybe to like 101. If you are counting from 1 to 100. So it's not going to caption 101, it's going to stop at what?
At 100.
Start from 1 to what? 100. If you use that condition, then you'll be able to capture it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But in the
Yes,
case, so in the case, let's say, for example, you want to ensure you just make sure that this code looks fancy, a bit better, you could, at the same time, just play around this code. Let me copy this code now again. How would I say it now? Okay. Let me try this. So in that case, you could maybe use a range. So I think in this case, it's not even applicable. So let me just do, okay, let's do it this way.
There's a day missing on the day.
Sorry?
There's a day missing on the day at the top.
Okay, thank you. Day number. So day number, oops. Okay, don't worry. I know how to fix it. So let's see.
And also say I think the range should be 1 to 7, not 0 to 7, because 0 is not ideal.
Yeah. So I can use day underscore name equals to create a dictionary. Oh, it's even giving me now. Oh, brilliant. I love this. So, dictionary. I'm really getting the results. So, sorry. Down dictionary. We have this. So we have 1 equals 2. Monday. We have 2 equals to Tuesday. Oops. Tuesday. Good. So it's even giving me the results. Can you see? So Tuesday, this is what I'm expecting. So we have Tuesday. You can just put them together like this. Then we don't need this anymore. Does that make sense? So in this case, I can decide to just do this. Let me put 2. Can you see? So I remodify this code. It looks smaller again, isn't it? So I check
Yes.
from day number in day name, right? So I'm capturing day number. So if day number in day name, whatever I put here, which is the day number 1 in day name, does that make sense? So it's capturing if it's 1, if what I'm putting here is 1. So if I put 4 now, right? 4 is Thursday. So it's checking if this 4, the day number where we are, what we have here, is equivalent to the 4 here. Does that make sense? So it's now doing day name, is passing day number in. You remember our dictionary, key and value? Brilliant. If you remember what I covered last week, you see key and value, key and value, key and value, key and value, and it's checking day number, this day number here, in day name. So if it's inside the day name, passing the value, which is the day number here, passing the key and capture the value. So if we want to capture the value, what do we do in this case? It's printing it out. Let's see. So 4. Can you see it's printing it out? Because this is the key. If you go back to that video, last week video, I passed in the key to get a value. So the value here is Thursday. Can you see? Done. So I streamline it by creating a dictionary instead of writing long if statements. So this is a way of improving your code. In the case of 100, you could maybe create a range from, you understand, create a range. Then after creating a range, pass in the whatever name that you want to do, then you capture the value, depending on what you want to do. So, but that range must have the keys and values together. Like the 100 one you talked about, maybe you want to say 100 is by name. You understand? Does that make sense now? Or is it difficult again?
Yes, okay. It's
So
okay now. Thank you.
yeah, I'm using the if statement again. Can you see if this day number is inside the daytime here, day name, which is the dictionary, passing the value. So if you want to be clear about this, you could capture, or let me see. You know what I mean? Like, you remember the key and value. Key and value. Yeah, key and value. In this, I'm coming. KV equals to. Okay. So you use that one. You can capture the key and value there. Remember? So I explained the key and value last time. So this should be very, very clear. If you go back to that video and check the dictionary, I was able to capture the key, the keys, passing in the key, value, passing in the key. So that's what we did there. These are the keys and the elements we have here that we're inputting. If it's 2 here, 2, it will go through here, we check if it's key, and it will capture the value, and it will print the value.
Sorry, 1 second.
Okay.
There is, I just want to, maybe it's just for you to explain. If you look at the range, I want to know what role the 0 is playing there, because we are looking at day number.
Thank you. You know, I copied from here.
Oh, okay.
So I
Okay.
forgot to edit that one. Thanks for pointing that out. So 0 should not be there because we already know from Monday to what? Sunday. So day of the week, Monday, Tuesday to what? Sunday. So in this case, we are attributing 1 as the key for each one. Then we get a value. So anything outside this now, if I press 8 now, what will happen? Invalid day number, because it's not between 1 to 7. So if you pass in 8 inside there now, it's not going to give you anything. Okay, to make life more easier, why can't we print the key so that we see what's happening? Here you go. See. see the key, and the key is day underscore number. Oops, sorry. Print. Oh, maybe I made a mistake somewhere. Oh, okay. Okay, so 7 enter. Can you see? Here is the key 7, right? Because I inputted 7. I added 7, right? When I was doing the input, I added what 7. So here is the key 7. Or I can say, does that make sense? So I printed only the key that we are passing it here. So in this case, day number is equivalent to when you are writing, when you write day name. Now let's see an example. Day name 7. Let's print it. Can you see? Is it not the same?
Yes.
It's the same, like key and value that I explained to you the other time. So
Mm.
what if I just do key name equals to Sunday. What do you think will happen here? And let's do. What do you think will happen in this case? If I do day name equals to 7, can someone
It
tell
won't
me?
give anything.
Eh?
Because
It will
Sunday,
not. It will not run. The code will not run.
Why?
Because Sunday is not part of, is one Sunday.
Okay, let's perform some trick for k key and value in day underscore name dot items print values. Let me say print v. Let's see. Is it not there? You
Because
remember?
you've changed that
yeah,
to
you
equals to Sunday,
Thank
Sunday.
you
you.
change.
That
You
is what I
added
want.
Sunday.
I've amended. You remember the dictionary last time that you could alter wherever you have in your dictionary in your list. So I altered it. I changed this Saturday, Sunday. I changed it to Sunday. So
Sunday.
does that make sense now? So you
Mm.
could play and modify wherever you have in your dictionary. Yeah, I covered it last week. Please go back to that video and you will really, really love it. By the time you go
Sorry.
through this video and just watch the other video, previous video, then go through this, you will love it so much. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
I just want to understand, when you wrote Prince, you had an F before the quotation mark. What does the F do?
Yes, F helps you to write a statement and capture the main result from the function that you have written.
Okay.
So yeah,
Can you say that again?
it helps you to print a statement and also bring out the results from whatever code you have written. Let's say you want to get some information about what this day number is. If you see this day number is just a day number, but we don't know. So when you run your code, if I put 7 here now, did you see that? Here, here, oh, here you go. I want you to write here you go. See the key, right? So let me put 7 now. Here you go, see the key. Can you see? Here you go, see what's the key? Key. The day number here, which is
The
part of
key is
what
7.
is 7.
Yes.
You know, I didn't write 7 here, right? Is the result.
Yes.
So most of the time when you want to troubleshoot or you want to fix a bug or you are trying to find a solution, most of the time it's good to use this F. wrap it up
Okay.
and print that result if this is what you're
That
expecting.
F, does it stand for function or something?
No, no, it doesn't stand for function. It's just, it helps you to print out your results. Remember,
So if you remove the
if
F,
you remove F, it doesn't make sense.
yeah.
You're not getting anything from this date number. You're not printing the actual result. It's just like
So
normal
if you
statement.
remove F now, you won't get. Can you remove F? Let's see what happens when you do.
If you remove F, it's going to be normal statements. Let me show you. Now, let's do it this way. You see, if I remove F, look at it. What do you see here? It turns to red like a statement. If I add the F, it turns to this. It will help you to pick the value
Okay.
here.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense now? So that's why we use
Yeah.
F. So we don't want to because you could maybe add normal statement F and remove F. Like you know, string, it will just print this out. If I run this one now, it's not, it doesn't make sense. Look, does it make sense? It's just gonna be so, but if you pass in F here, you'll be able to print wherever you have inside here. If I put 7 now, it's going to print the actual results. Can you see? Now, does that make sense? They all make sense now.
It
Yes,
makes a lot of
yes.
sense. Initially, I was thinking maybe the F was the same thing as 4. You know,
Okay.
where where you have the 14, V, maybe it was doing the same function as the 4.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Adaize Ojiogu said you're trying to run a nested condition, but it did not run true. Is there something I'm not doing right? Nested condition. Look at it. You didn't do something right there. Did you see that?
Yeah,
If
it's
you look,
giving me the curly days, but I can't really figure out why. The reason
yeah,
why it should
because
highlight it.
that if statement at the top should align with the else at the bottom. So adjust that else.
Okay.
Now you're becoming a good data engineer.
All right. Thank you. Sorry.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, then we have this statement also. Just like what I did there, we could also apply it here, just to streamline, to make our code more efficient and more improved. You understand? So we could maybe create a dictionary similar to this and build this code again. But it's a bit tricky, but something like that, we could do that, but let's leave it this way. So in this case now, we have a mark. We have a mark. The mark ranges from we have the first element 83, 75, 74.9, and this. So we want to capture like a particular, let's say for example, we want to assign second class upper, second class lower, first class, third class to wherever we have on inside that list, on the list. So here we have a function. Please, we're not covering function. If that makes sense, we're not covering function here in this class. We're not covering function, but I try to introduce function because some of the things that we've covered so far, you need to wrap it up with function. Yeah. So yeah, let's go on. I think we need to have a break. Should we have like 10 minutes break?
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, because we've really done lots of work and we need to relax and refresh.
15 minutes.
15
Yeah.
minutes?
So, sorry, I want to ask.
Yeah.
Before we go on, but can we get this this lecture? Can we get it maybe probably today or?
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I've explained steps here that you have to follow. Write Python to count the number of alphabets here that we have here. Count everything that we have here. Count one after the for each element. Then you generate a new list. If you see this one is 21, you use Python to count it, and this says you write it out. Now, when you do that, then you should get this. This is the results. If you count this one, it should give you this. If it's not accurate, just investigate it for that. I'm very, very sure it should be fine. But check it, you have something like this. Something like this. So now generate new list from the new file path. A new list. This is the list, the original one. So the new list, you will generate two new lists. So the first one is first file path, California, 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 California. Second file path, restaurant, farming, store, housing. Then use pandas to generate CSV file with columns. Then create a new pandas data frame. And when you create, you have to run this code. Let me see the results. The best way, okay, after when you send the PY scripts, I also want to see when you run it on Google Colab. Just show the result and download it, send it in PDF. Send it in PDF. Don't let me run PY file. Just send it in PDF like this. Go here. If you want to run PDF, just go here. File. Print. Can you see that? Print. Save as in PDF. Can you see that? Save. Then it will go to my environment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then you click on save. Very easy. When you run the code, after you're done running the code, then send this PDF document to me. I will understand if it's clear. If it's not clear, I will tell you. So that's the assignment you have to do before the next class. So I think we should be fine. If you understand it clearly, I'm very, very sure you are going places in the field of
Sorry,
data
can you
engineering.
share again how to send the PDF file to you?
File, print, then click on save and save on your computer. Yeah, so that's that. So let's go on conditional statements. Let's go back to where we stopped. So I will try as much as possible to cover conditional statement and loop and iteration today. So okay. Okay, so let's see. Now we have our list here. Like I always do, I check the type. Please get used to this. It's very, very good. Marks. And our mark is type what? List. And here, I want to collate this mark. I want to collate this mark. I want to collate them based on, not based on the mark, but based on what? Based on what we are assigning here as first class, second class, third class. Brilliant. So that's what I want to do. Then how do I deal with that? Okay. So don't make it global. Okay, so let's push this one in. Okay. So now you look at this list. We have our mark here. We've created an empty list here. This is an empty list. You can't see anything there. In this empty list, we want to create a new list. Wherever we generate from this code, we want to pass it to this list and create a new list entirely. So now, we have for mark in marks. That means we want to for loop. Check wherever we have here. Then if mark is greater than 75, assign it as first class. Anything greater than 75 here should be first class. Else, if 70, this and this, assign it this. Now, in this case, we could modify this code also, but I won't modify it. I won't make it more advanced for you, but let's understand the else if statement. So we have for mark and marks, if mark is greater than 75, if this mark is greater than 75, what do you think will happen? sorry, is greater than 75, is going to be first class. So if it's between 70, if it's equal to 70, can you see? If mark is equal to or less than, sorry, or greater than, sorry, if 70 is less than or equal to mark, that means it's either is equal to 70, but it must not be less than 70. But it can be greater than what? Sorry, it must be less than 75 because here is accounting for greater than. Now, if that is the case, assign second class upper. Now, then we have other conditions set here. Else if we are checking other conditions, don't forget, else if is for condition. We could decide to write else if it doesn't make sense. But to streamline our code, we can say else like this and write if here, but it doesn't make sense. Can you see that? Well, we'll keep writing else every time. So in order to reduce that, we just do L if. So L if append second class, append this. So by the time it gets to the last one, append probation, because we're saying else if all these conditions are fulfilled and we have any other condition outside, then it should append it as probation. So here we have fail is 30. If 30 is what? Less than or equal to mark and less than 40. So any other conditions like marks that we have, which is less than 30, will be under probation. Then after that, what do? We return this. We return grade because it would have been appended fully. Let's run this code. I know it's tricky using this. Let me see if I could. Let me see. I think you are used to this, don't worry. No, let's do it this way, the one we are used to, so that I won't make things so difficult, so that I won't be applying function. So, but as you are developing in your Python coding, you have to also learn how to use, sorry. This is not, okay. 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 Okay, let's do it this way. I intentionally removed this because I know you are not familiar with so. Oh, mistake again. Let's do it this way. Sorry, I have to adjust this code because I didn't want to show you the function aspect because it might be a bit confusing. Okay, so already you are familiar with else if, so this shouldn't be a problem. So else if. Okay, so now if we run this code now, it's telling me something there. Else if this, so I deleted something. Can you see? I'm able to pick that error. Can you see? So let's see what grade list is. Print grade list. Can you see? Can you see grade list? This is our grade list. So it's checking the first one. Is 83. Where does 83 fit in here? It fits into mark is greater than or equal to 75. 83 is greater than 75. Assign first class. First class. It goes further. It checks this. 75. Mark is greater than or equal to 75. Assign what? First class. Next one. It goes further, 74.9. 74.9 does not fit into this. It fits into the next stage, second class upper, because it's what? Less than 75, but greater than 70. It's greater than 70, that's 74.9 is greater than 70, but less than 75, second class upper. Let's check the next one. 60, let's check. Here we have 60 is less than or equal to max, so it falls into this category because it's 60, so it should be is equal to mark. So it's good. That means 60 is greater than or equal to 60, and 60 is what's less than 70. So it's what? Second class lower. But in reality, we all know that 60 is mostly second class upper. I mean, it depends on, but by default, mostly when it comes to grading, it's mostly second and upper. So now let's see the next stage, which is 68.9. 68.9 falls within this also. 68.9 is less than 70, but it's greater than 60, still second class lower. 65. 65 is still within this range, second class lower. 61 is still within the range, second class lower. Then 55 is third class until you get to probation. Brilliant. So we've been able to do this now. That means we generated, we have mark and we have what? And we have grade list. So what if we do something interesting like this? We have marks. And this. Let's print our results. Oops. Okay, now I see. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so let's do this way. Sorry, there's a mistake. Sorry. Mark as marks. Then we have grade list as grade lists. Okay, so let's print this. There's a mistake also. I think that is just a, oh, sorry. It's my bad. Column. Okay, so brilliant. Can you see that? Can you see the results? So we're able to see mark here and we're able to see grade here. In this case, we can, play around this particular stuff. How do we play around it? Let's generate a file from here. And how do we do that? So let me see imports. We can use pandas now as PD. Then if we import pandas as PD, that should help us to do that. So I can just do data frame equals to PD dot data frame.
Okay.
You got a clue there. I know why you said okay. Okay. So data frame, pass this in. Then let's see what we have. Then here, let's run our printdf. If we run our printdf now, what do we get? We get what? A CSV file. This is our pandas data frame, so we can generate a CSV file from here. And how do we generate a CSV file? We can say, let's say we name also output file, output, let me call it outputs, CSV file equals to, so do you mind? Okay, thank you. So we can just say, we call the file maybe outputs grid. Let me call it output grid or CSV. Let's generate that. And then we could also now go further because remember we've generated our data frame. We can just do 2 underscore CSV, then underscore CSV, and what's our file? What's our file name? That's we have outputs. Okay, so it's giving me so outputs file name, right? Then we can do index equals to false. So let's see our results. Let's see if it's generated output file name. Can you see? Let's download it. Let's download our CSV file and let's see our result. Can you see? It's doing the result correctly, isn't it? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we have our marks, we have grade list. It's saved first class as 83, 75 first class, 74.9 second class upper, 60 second class lower, 68.9 second class lower, 65 second class lower, 61 second class lower, and that's what I expect you to do with the other assignments. So I think you understand clearly now. But I didn't give you more details. So please figure out the rest. But I'm very, very sure you'll be fine. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah, it really makes sense.
Okay, thank you. So I don't expect you to find the other parts difficult. I mean, when it comes to CSV file, now I've shown you an example, generate data frame, how to pass key and value. I explained this step. You saw it when I gave an example, so should be fine. So now, you see, Python is very, very good, makes things more easier for you. You know, it's like, makes you to look like a magician. But you're not a magician. But the major thing is that you're gathering knowledge here, which is very, very important. I always advise you, we always advise you, please practice and practice and practice. All what we've been doing, if you don't practice, it will just disappear. It will disappear, but I'm very sure it will not disappear. So but you have to practice and practice and practice and practice because our brain can expand. The more you push something into that brain, the more it expands. Even you think you don't have a clue, that it looks like, I don't know what they are talking about here. Please, if you go to that video and practice like 20 times in a month, I can tell you that it will stick to your brain, even if you don't know any jack. Yes, good. Let's continue. I'm talking from experience. So I'm not just trying to, play game. Now, let's continue. So that's and we've been able to generate that file. So then we have another one which I don't really need to talk about. Let's forget this one and let's go to loop and iteration. Let's cover this. I want to make sure that we cover anything related to we've covered data structure last week. We covered conditional statements now. We're going to loop and iteration. Any questions so far? Any question?
Yeah. Sorry. My question is this. Last week, during the data structure lecture last week,
Yeah.
there was some code that we actually had to import that were not written by us. We had to report codes like if I remember very well, there are some codes that we had to import. Is that as in do you have to import those codes every time you want to write such?
Are you talking about this?
This is one of them. This is one
Yeah,
of them.
this is a library. It's a function automatically just do import pandas as PD. That's it. It's going to work.
Okay.
It's a library.
There are some that we actually did not write, and the codes were just. I want to ask if that's a normal way to do it. We don't write the code.
You know the advice I will give you, just take a screenshot, send it via that platform because I'm not clear about the aspect you're talking about. It's going to be difficult for me to understand now. Yeah, but let's cover this. If you have any question, we have Koblo that will be able to attend to you on the on WhatsApp. And also, if I have enough time, I will try as much as possible to support.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay, let's continue. Any other question related to what we've covered so far? Any question? Please, as much as possible, send the assignment across. Let me send my email now. Send the assignment across by, okay, 1 second. By, if possible, where's this going to be? Maybe, okay, send it before, maybe Thursday if possible, because I will need to go through it and then we'll come together again and discuss.
Thank you for the healing streams. And I want to thank you for the healings too.
Sorry, can you mute yourself, please? Now, let's continue. We don't have any other question. No question from Abidemi. No question from Adeshola. Daniel. Oh, Daniel, I can cite you there.
I'm okay for now.
Okay, Jamie. Okay, Koblo is here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Koblo. Question from anyone? No question. Okay. Yeah, I believe you are getting along. And I'm very sure it shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, we just
Question from
believe by the time we go through the video, we'll be fine.
please, apart from you going through the video, you went through the video last week. Today you didn't show me anything.
No, but I did. I still did. I
Okay, you
did.
did.
Only I
Okay, you're
couldn't
the
send
one.
it.
Okay,
But
let me remember
yeah,
your name. Jamie. Okay, Jamie,
Jamie,
you
yeah.
try. Please, let's go through this video very well. There's something tricky about data engineering. It's not like other other fields entirely, like BA, or you understand, it's not like that. It requires practice and practice and practice. I've seen a situation where, I told you something the other time. At a point, I attended a particular training and I didn't know anything. I left that training, I was like, how will I get this thing? But I sat down at home, I put the laptop on my, I sat down, I picked my laptop, and I started reading without even understanding. I read the first time, read again. I'll put the laptop on my laps and I'll read again, watch the video again, watch the video again, watch the video again. I will search materials online, watch the video again. I will subscribe for materials, training materials. Then I bought loads of training material. I spent lots of money on training materials. You understand? Then I didn't care wherever I was spending. I was just spending. You understand? But, it pays off. As in now, I would say if I go back to those training, I would like, why didn't I quickly get it then? So it's like they are more or less like basic. So I will advise you, because I've seen series of people saying, I will go back to, as soon as if I go back to that video, I will pick it up. You have to act immediately. Immediately, I'm uploading the file, video, watch it again from start to finish. Pick it up again. Watch the video again. Practice, make mistake. Practice, make mistake. Sometimes what? Sorry, you're not like me. So, but what I'm trying to say is that just try as much as possible. Spend time. If you are stuck, don't just give up. If you are able to, if you are trying to solve, trying to write code and you make any mistake, relax little, go back, start writing again. If you make a mistake, go back again. Don't give up. Just keep fighting. Be very, very stubborn. When it comes to data engineering, you have to be very, very stubborn. And you can know it. I'm very, very sure of that. So now that's my advice for you. And don't give up and don't be discouraged that, they say in BA or in data engineering space, oh, there is no job. The whole space is, is filled up. The competition is too high. Who told you can't get it? Just go for it. Go for it. Knock. He said knock. It is not that other people should knock. If other people are knocking and they are not getting, it's not your own business. You just go and knock. And the door will be opened. You understand? So you are seeking now. You're seeking knowledge. Please keep exploring and keep finding it. I'm very, very sure you'll be fine. So now let's continue. Loop and iteration. Loop and iteration. We've been covering loops. We've been doing something related to loop, for loop. We've done for loop. You've seen it several times. You saw it in the last previous class, and you've seen it today again. You know, we used a for loop for I in this. You'll be wondering for someone asked that question for why are we using for? Well, I intentionally introduced it in the first class and also when we started this class for you to say, oh, this is strange. How do I understand this? Why do we have for loop? So for is it helps you to go through wherever we have in the list, elements in the list. We have first element, second element, third element. You can pick wherever value from the element. So that's where we use loop. Imagine you have 1 billion elements. As a data engineer, you have 1 billion. You have values ranges from 1 to 1 billion. Yes, let me use. I think this will be too much, but let's see. Let's play the game. Let's play range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 million. Okay. LST. Okay, so let's see. Can you see? Can you see values going from where? Oh, it's still going. Okay, can you see? It's printing up to how many millions using that range? One, we are printing here, we're printing 10 million. Can you see 10 million here? Range 10 million. So imagine you're printing that. You could now use for loop to go through that, and that's where we have for loop. So you can do for maybe for I in LST if I in, let's say I in coming, let me see, 10 greater than 10. Okay, less than 20. Print I. Now let's do this. Remember, we have 10 million values, but we want to capture only few lines there. Oh, I think there is a mistake here. Sorry, argument integer. Okay, sorry, 1 second. Integer not treatable. Oh, okay, there's a mistake somewhere. If maybe I'm making a mistake, but I'll figure it out. But what I'm trying to do here is, let's say we want to print this. I'll figure that out. It's just a minor error. You see our high now. This is our high. This is our high. This is our high. I keep going forever. Let me just stop it. Okay, let me stop. So if I okay, so let me say if I okay, sorry. Let me do if 20 in I. Let me just do if 20 in I. If 20 in I, print I. So if 20, oh sorry. If 20 in high, print I. So it's asking me one question for I and if 20 in high. It's not iterable. Oh, okay. Um, okay, there's a mistake there, but I'll figure it out. If I, okay, so maybe we prefer to use if I equals to here is equal to, oh, sorry, that's a string. Sorry, equals to 20. Yeah, yeah. So I think this is correct. So let's do it this way. Can you see it's printing 20? So if I is greater than, is less than or equal to, less than equal to 20. Yeah, can you see? So out of the 10 million elements that we have, so we decide to reduce it by saying if I is greater than or equal to 20. So we want to capture everything from 20 below. Does that make sense? So if I is greater than or equal to 20, or we could say if 0 is greater than, so it's less than, sorry, is less than or equal to, or if 1 is less than or equal to I, and I is greater than or equal to 50, if you want to capture more, 50, or greater, less than, greater than 50 only. So here is going to capture, so if we run that, it's going to capture 1 to what? Because it's less than 50, it's going to capture 1 to what? 49. Can you see?
No, yeah.
Yeah, 49 in this case. So you see, you could do a lot of things. So imagine you have millions of records in petabytes, in terabytes. You could be able to use something like this conditional statement to loop and capture wherever you want in that data. So that's how it works. And for loop is very, very good. So we are looping through all the 10 million records, rows in the data, and we only filter out the condition. We set a condition. We did conditional statements, so this should not be difficult for you. If this, else, we could use else now. Else. Maybe out of range, just like we have it out of range. So it's saying else out of range. So other out of range. So it's printing it. We have, if this condition is not fulfilled, so
It's gonna be a lot.
it's going to be a lot. Thank you. So, but we can play around it. Let's play around it now. So if we, let's say, out of range, let's say F here, let's say here is the new F, and we put I. Okay. So let me play again. Let me say it's greater than 10 million. 10 million is greater than 10 million. So let's say 20. So between 20 and 10 million that we have here, is it 10 million? Yeah, 10 million. 10 M. Good. So it's going to print else. So let's say print, don't let us make it complicated. Just so if this, or we could play a game around. If not, then print this. You do see that? Because I use a negative way. I pass in if not. That means it's going to change from 20 to this. Does that make sense? So because we are not saying if it is, we are saying if not. If not, if it's not in this range, print here is the new F. Here is the new F1 because don't forget, 0 is not in this range. 0. 1 is not in that range. So it's less than 20. Remember, we want something that is not between this. It's not between 20 and 10 million, the record that we have. So which is what? Less than 20. It should be less than 20, and that's the condition. So we use a negative way of capturing that. Because if I use if only, is going to capture this, and it's going to be 100 millions of record. Can you see? A
Yeah.
lot. Yeah. So you do that. You that's why I say I talked about. I said coding is more of logical reasoning, thinking of ways to capture things. So instead of us writing else the other time, I intentionally put if not to print the else. So if not, it means you are saying else. It's still the same thing. So that's the idea about. So we've tried for loop and we've used conditional statement. We've combined them together. We've tried conditional statement here. So here we're using loop and iteration, and we are combining with what? Conditional statement. Does that make sense?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Just loop and iteration,
absolutely.
I did the
Yeah.
same.
Sorry?
Loop and iteration, I did the same.
That's a very good question. I think when we go on, it will be very, very clear because when you are looping, it's more or less you're iterating, you're going through the code. We have different types of loops. We have for loops, we have while loop. Does that make sense? So, but in this case now we are using for. We are only treating for loop for now. Does that make sense? So the first part that we're covering, I should have written here for loop. Let me do for
Where
loop.
you wrote loop and iteration, okay?
Sorry?
The same way you wrote loop and iteration, maybe you wanted to write for loop there
Yeah,
underneath.
it's okay. It's still
Okay.
correct. So I will first
Yeah,
start
yeah,
with for loop. For loop. Does that make sense now? So it's
makes
part of
sense.
the top. Yeah. So for we've been covering for loop, but despite we have conditional statements in between. If you see here, we've been doing some other conditional statement that we covered. So
Okay.
now let's
Just
go.
before you move on. So just
Okay.
before you move on, I'm sorry if I'm taking us back.
Yeah.
You said for I, must it be high or why are we using high?
Okay. Okay. Let me use Jamie.
Okay, that's all I needed to know that we could use
Yeah,
any other thing.
yeah.
Okay.
For Jamie in list, I'll pass in Jamie here. Then print Jamie. Still gonna print our results. Let's see. Did you see that?
Okay, and LST. Okay, it's nice you're explaining all this because the LST sometimes they look like you're writing first. That's one ST, like first.
I
So
didn't
it's
write it.
the
It's just
list.
the name. If I can change, let me do Jamie list. That's the pattern of the letter itself. So I can do Jamie Jamie list here and change this one to Jamie list. Let me use proper Jamie list. So proper Jamie list now. So if I run this Jamie list for Jamie in Jamie list, it's still gonna give me the same result. It's just a variable, it's a name. I told you
Okay.
last time, I said it's a name. You can use any name you can use SOM list, you can use anybody's name, or local day list, your Jogun list, additional list, wherever. Just put it, it's a variable name. You will still be able to write your code. But don't forget, when you're in data engineering space, you can't just use your name. You have to use a readable name. There's something called naming convention. So it has to be in line with your project that you're dealing with. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
You're
Makes a lot
welcome.
of sense.
Yeah, thank you. So now we have for, in this case, you are familiar with this. I've treated this. So for I in list, I will use Jamie list now again. Jamie, because I've amended that. Jamie lists. Jamie lists. So print I. Say print. Can you see print I? Because don't forget we use millions. So let's stop it again. Because of this range. If I amend this range now, let me use 10 just to make it more readable. Are you see? So it's going to print this way. The number is this. The number is this. Can you see I? Okay. Koblo Usani. Hello, Koblo.
Good day, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, sir. Sorry, I want to just clarify the iteration and the loop stuff that he asked.
Thank you.
Just like what this instance you've given, this condition is going to run until what you have commanded it is met. That's what you call the loop. While the iteration is like performing the same task or code or instruction to a collection. So that could be one after the other, but the loop has to go on until the condition is met. I don't know if it makes sense to the person that asks.
Sorry, please, can you say that again?
Okay, when you are doing a loop, it means that you are having a condition, and until that condition is met, that code still continues to run. All right, but the iteration then means that you are doing an instruction for a collection one after the other. So it doesn't have to be a continuous process, but you are doing it one after the other on the collection. But the loop has to go on until the condition that you have set is met, just like what our teacher has done on this one, just in this last one. He said if for Jamie in Jamie list, if not 20 is less than or equal to Jamie to 1 million. So this is going to go on until it finishes the entire process before it stops. So if the condition is met, it stops. But if it's not, it keeps going. That's the loop. But the iteration means that there's a collection, there's a code that you are passing to each collection, and it has to be one after the other. So I don't know if I'm able to clarify that to you a little bit. I don't know if
you did.
Thank you. I just want to let me just see if it makes sense now. Are you saying the loop is the end result, everything that happens to the end result, while the iteration is the steps?
It's sort of, yeah, you're getting it. Let me try to see if I can explain it again. The loop is just like saying if 1 is equal to 1,000, print okay. So as long as 1 is equal to 1,000 in the collection of code that you've done, it's going. As long as it has not met that condition, it keeps going until the condition is met. That's where the loop stops. But when you are making inference for the iteration, it means that you are giving instruction to a collection, maybe a code collection, and then you are saying, this will have to, the code is passing to one option, then it finishes, treats that, and goes to the other one and treats that, and goes to the next one after the other. The same instruction you are passing, but it's not going to be continuous. It's not like a condition you have set. So I don't know how I'm going to explain that. Maybe I'm going to drop that a clearer picture for you on the WhatsApp group if you don't get it.
Yeah, it's making sense. It's making sense. It's just like for me, it just sounds like every step you take.
Yeah, Jamie, look at this. Look at this. Look at this CSV file. Imagine you have this CSV file. How many rows do we have here? We have 324 rows, right? Yeah. The function of you have to go through it one after the other to check if all the conditions are met. It will go through the first line, second one, third one. That's the row. That's where we do for loop. And it's iterating through each rows one after the other, checking if all the conditions are met in order to perform a function. That was what Koblo was trying to explain. So when you talk about looping, it will go through, let's say we are talking about LA. If you remember when we created the CSV the other time, we have a list now. We have a list. These are the values that we have. This is the key for those values. You remember when I created CSV file. Yes. So it's like you are looping through each element one after the other for each row. check through this one, check through this one. Is the condition is the condition met? Check, check. It's going through, the code is going through. So what human being cannot do, like you just be checking file after they are writing it manually, is doing it within a twinkle of an eye, going through and is generating file. And if you remember, when I was trying to say if not, it's part of the condition to be able to filter out if the condition is met. If it's not met, you understand?
I get it. I get it. Like when you were doing the other one before we changed this over, when one of the conditions was like actually going over and over, and the number was still going while we're still talking. That's a loop until it completes that. That's the loop.
Exactly. So it's iterating all through the rows, one after the other, checking, one after the other, checking, checking. So it goes through everything, and that's how it works. So yeah. So I know you, don't worry, along the way, you keep picking, please. I will advise you, try after this class, just go and read more. Read more. Don't depend on whatever we cover here. Only we are trying as much as possible to give our best. Like me, I'm giving my best to ensure that you all get it. I'll try to explain, in a simpler way. But for you to also develop and understand this thing clearly, don't depend on this material only. After you watch this video, you practice and you are stuck somewhere. Oh, okay. Just be curious a bit. Check other materials online, and I'm very, very sure you'll be fine.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So now let's continue. Thank you, Koblo. Thank you for shedding more light on that.
Thank you so
And
much.
so you have, now I've explained this. So out of loop, can you see say out of loop? So it's gone through all the steps, and it's saying, ooh, out of loop, meaning that is out of that, out of the whole file that we have, the rows. It's gone through all the rows. After going through the rows, and it has gotten to the last part of the row, and it's saying, oh, there's nothing to do anymore. That's where you have out of what? Loop. The meaning is that it has gone through all the rows. Does that make sense? That's why I put out of loop. It's gone through rows one after the other for this, and it gets to the
That
last
means
part.
it's outside the range.
Outside, not outside. Yeah, outside the existing file being looped.
Okay.
Yeah, after
There's nothing to loop anymore. Yeah, there's nothing. Maybe it has gotten to the last one. After getting to 325, oh, so nothing is here. You understand? So that's a typical example of that. So it's gone through the whole file. Now
It
we've
has
got,
got to the finish line.
thank you. That's the right word. Thank you, my sister. Now, you see the list. We've covered range. We did begin, end, and step. You remember that? We did that in the first class. So here, if we create a list from here, we get a list. Already we know, we are familiar with this. I don't need to explain. And if you are not clear about this, please go through the other video, then see how we did slicing, where we did begin, end, step, begin, end, step. So begin starts with 1, end stops at 9, right? And it takes what?
Steps. 2 steps.
2 steps.
2
2
steps.
steps.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 2 steps. So that's what the range is doing. And we did the -1 here. And let's see the results. And we have 0, 1, this. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's empty. So now it should be 1 here. I think I was trying to test something then. So we have 1 here. And we have this. We have the results here, 0, 1 to 9. So maybe I intentionally put this one to me. Okay. So now,
Sorry, I
I
noticed
would have
that
preferred.
the first day we did the slicing.
Yeah.
You were using double colon, and then I know when you try to do it today, you're using the commas. So it's able to differentiate them. I don't know if I'm making sense. The first day when you did it, when you had
okay,
the beginning, you had
Mhm.
double colon, then you had the end, you had a double colon,
That
and
was
then you
when I
had the
was
step.
using range, right? I used a list.
Use the list. Yeah, use the list.
Yeah, it's going to work. Yeah, so now it's still the same thing, 0 to 9. Can you see step 1? If we take 2 steps now, it's going to be 0, 2, 4. If we take 3, it's going to be 0, 3, 6, 9. 3 steps. 0, 1, 2, 3. I think I showed you using like I showed an example. So do this same thing applicable to this from the first value 10, 8. If I remove this, it's showing empty. Okay. Okay. I think this is not aspect that I want to. Okay, let's go on to the aspects that we're covering what we've covered last. But anyway, it's still part of it. So let's try this range. For X in range 5, already we know what range 5 will be. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 will not be included. So we're printing this, right? Is that we're iterating, we're going through each one. For loop, we're using for loop. Remember for loop, and we're iterating through each lines. Each in first element, second element, third, fourth, fifth. We're going through it one after the other. Just like I explained the CSV file. In this CSV file, the first element is what here? Darlington, second, you see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see? First element in the 0, 1, this second element, 2, third element, 3, 4, like that. So it's still the same thing. You're just looping through. So now, for X in range 5, now we try to, play around this code just to change the format, making it horizontal and vertical, changing the direction. So if I run this one, I'm going to get this, but to make it vertical, to make it in this, that's vertical line, right? If I'm correct. Yeah. Okay.
That's horizontal.
Horizontal, thank you. Okay, so now we have range, X end. So when you pass in end and you put this, you'll be able to what? Play around this and rearrange the structure. Let me do something here. Can you see? So if you put comma here, it's going to arrange it using comma, comma. Does that make sense? So you could maybe play around this and, so if you like, just put this. It's going to do that for you also. But in this case, let me just use empty and range. Look at the range here, begin and end. You already know begin and end. When it ends, it doesn't include 5. So it's going to be 3, 4, 5. So you print it this way. I is like a statement I told you the other time, print statement. So I is this, passing 1. So we've been covering this for loop since, but you're not aware. But now it's very clear that we're talking about iterating through, going through rows, the first element, second element, or should I say rows, one after the other, from first row to the last one until you get to the end of the row. So now we have for X in, that's first, begin, end, and slice. Begin, end, and slice. So if you run this one, you see, begin, end, so it should end at 7. So and do sorry, I said slice. So steps. So it should be, this one should be step. So we are taking 2 steps. So 3 to 7, 2 steps equals 3, 5, 7. If I change this one to 12, that should change to 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Yeah, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. 3, 5, 7, 9, because we're taking 2 steps. We're taking 2 steps. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think I will jump some lines. We don't need to really cover everything. Just go through the video and practice, practice, practice. So here, let me just explain this. So here, already you are familiar with these inputs. So input, we are passing in a string. So here, we call it a word. Inputs, then open brackets, passing the statement here. So we are looping through for letter in the word. That's wherever we input here, we want to read through it one after the other. Print letter. Now let's do it. Let me do Jamie Asani. Can you see? So it's looping through Jamie Asani one after the other. We typed Jamie Asani. It's going through J. It's printing J. So if I take this end away now, you will see the arrangement. Jamie, oh, okay. Jamie Asani. Now, can you see? It's looping through Jamie Asani. Looping through for letter in word for J in Jamie Asani, print J, print A, print M, print I, print E. Print space, the space that we added. Print A, print S, print A, N, I. But if we want to rearrange it, we just put this, just to make it well arranged. So we do Jamie Asani. So can you say? So we're looping through that name and we're generating this. So now, for example, we have Akin, we've created a list. The list is just like you're going through each row. If you see here now, you're going through 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going one after the other. Same thing. You're going through 1, 2, 3, 4. So friend, so I want to loop through this friend now. My friends in friends. My friends in friends. So we go through Akin, we go through Julie, you go. So let's say, for example, we want to generate a maybe a New Year card, a greeting card. For example, we have, how many people do you have? So 27 people. Let's say I want to generate a business, a New Year card or Christmas card for all of us. I could just write a Python code and type wherever we have there, and it should include names, including their emails. Maybe I want to send it via email just to make it easier and digital. I will just write a code, Happy New Year, compose my message, this and that, and that's it. You can do a lot of things with Python. I remember I wanted to send email to like almost 20,000 people. Was it some months back? I was thinking that how will I do it? Well, I had to subscribe to a service, and I wrote a Python script. You understand? I wrote a Python script to to include the message, the headline, the subject that I wanted to add. And I just I created a CSV file, loop through all the emails that we have there, loop through their names, you understand, and send email to all of them. And I send email to more than 10,000 people at once. Can you see how Python is very, very powerful? So I was able to do that without sending email manually. I just went to my IDE, composed all the message, used some other information, and I wrote the code, generate the template for the whole emails, and I send it to them immediately within a few minutes, and you'll be seeing the result. So Python is very, very good and is very, very important. So now, if you are into email marketing, you could maybe make use of that also with your experience here. So now, here, I want to create for friend in friends. Then I apply this for loop. For friend is with friends. Then Happy New Year, Akin. Can you see? Imagine I want to send email. In our email, we always say, hi, Akin. I'll just do hi. I'll put I here, right? I'll put I. Then I'm able to generate the first part of the email. Then I will compose the rest. And that's it. And I'll forward it to their email. So I don't need to be typing one after the other. I, Bolu, I, this. I'll just write a Python script, get all the names, store somewhere, loop through all of them, then send email to them once. Within 5 minutes, email is gone to almost 10,000 people. So that's how it works. Python is very, very powerful and is very, very useful. Now let's go on. So I've been able to show you this example now. You can use create a greeting card. I, Akin, I, Julie. So you could send this one, get their email, and just send it to all of them. I wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hope you enjoy yourself, this and that. You know, that's how it works. So Python is very good. So let's go to the next line. So here, I try to set a condition based on what we've covered, conditional statement, and we're using for loop here in this case. So in this case, we have word input. So I can input any word here. So I want to set my initial count to 0. You know our normal count when you count something from 1, 2, 3. So that's what this is doing. So it's doing the count from sorry, give me 1 second. So now look at this vowel underscore count now. We initialize it to be 0. We set 0 as the default value. And I now move further by saying for C in word.lower. Why do you think I'm using lower? And why do you think lower function is very important?
If you're talking of the case.
The case, thank you. If you want to convert something to lowercase or uppercase, I can also do upper here if I want upper. Okay, let's do this trick. Let me comment this out and let's go to the next line. Say print see. Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. Let me do Jamie. I think I love Jamie's name so much. Jamie Asani. Okay, look at Jamie Asani. Jamie Asani, I wrote the first part as uppercase, the remaining part lowercase, then we have one uppercase. So when I did that, I passed Jamie Asani in. For C, so I'm reading through Jamie now, the first one, Jamie Asani in this. So in word underscore Jamie Asani, so I converted it to uppercase. So this turned to uppercase. And for you to be sure, let's print this. So now let's print this. So let's do Jamie Asani. Can you see? Can you see the Jamie Asani now? Jamie Asani from this upper. Okay, let's do it again. I think it makes sense if
Sorry,
I
sir,
do.
what does the C represent there?
Oh, looping, for loop. We've started for loop. Have you forgotten?
Okay.
For loop, iteration, loop and iteration. Remember? For C, we are going through the row one after the other. First line, second line, just like that. So we're going through Jamie, J, hey, M, I, E, A, S, A, I. So the reason why you have to do loop through is to, if you have a condition that you need to meet, it will help you to go through it and, meet all the conditions. So look at it now. For C in this, print word. I decided to print the word I added. I added this, but because I converted it to uppercase, it turned them to what? Upper, capital letter, uppercase. So if I turn this one to lower now, most of the time, we mostly turn, okay, let me do Jamie Asani in capital now. In capital, can you see it turns them to lowercase because I said this one as lower, word dot lower. So now if I do, look, so if I do, now let me do something tricky. If I do for C, oops, oh dear. Okay, sorry. So print C. Print C. Sorry, give me 1 second. So let me do Jamie now. Let's do Jamie. Let's see if we're gonna, okay, let me do Jamie Asani. Let's see if it's gonna work. It works. So for C in this, so we're able to, loop through. So we're able to loop through the Jamie and we're able to print. But what if we have another condition? Let's see if we can fulfill this condition. Well, another condition. This is C, right? So we have a condition where if Jamie,
Excuse me, sir.
okay,
I'm just a bit I understood what you're doing, but I was thinking, like in SQL, when you use the word C, you kind of assigning. So what you've done here is, no, I'm just asking a question. So we have the word equals to input, blah, 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 enter the text, okay? I now had for C in word OPA. So in that case, you are saying that you are assigning that word to be C. I don't know how to say it. In SQL, that's how they kind of do it. So at the end of the day, you end up assigning another context into what you wanted to do, maybe to shorten it or to summarize it.
Okay, you mean this C, right?
Yeah, alias, yes, yeah, something like alias. Yeah, somebody said it. Yeah, so that's what.
Okay, that makes sense. That's alias.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that you were doing here.
No, not at all. You know, the alias in SQL is completely different.
Okay.
Alias in SQL is just that you're giving another name. You're giving another name. Let's say I don't want to use. You can decide to say select maybe a Jamie Asani as J, or you can say select Jamie Asani J. It will still pick it, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, yes,
in
that's something
SQL.
I read.
But in this case, in Python, you're not using it to maybe to rename a particular column. You're looping through it one after the other. Like I gave an example. You're checking Darlington, County Durham. You're checking one after the other to see if those conditions are met. So if those, let's say for example, okay, I've written Jamie Asani now, and I want to put, it's going through one after the other. It's going through J, A, M, it's iterating through, it's going through one after the other, checking each rows. It's counting them as row because they are like elements in the list. So it's checking one after the other. After checking one after the other, it's checking now you know, I now say if C, so we expect C to be J, right? But if the first letter is A, we want to set a condition. If C, the first letter, so in this case, I would prefer to use lower. Or yes, I will use lower. So lower, so that in case. So for C in this. So now, or I won't even use lower. Let me just use what? Yeah, brilliant. So now we're trying to say inside this C is it equal to A? Can we find A from Jamie here? Can you see A there? A is there, right? Can you check if it's E, uppercase is not uppercase, it's smaller. But if I decide to put this one to lower, it will capture this. So C, if it's small letter, is just going to check if it's capital letter A or uppercase A. And that's what we're doing here. So it's different from the SQL one where we do select all this, select this column as A. You understand here. So it's completely different.
All right,
So
thank you.
Python is just for
Okay,
you're welcome.
I think what she's even trying to, which I see one also trying, if you change the C now to like B, or B in Word, would it still be the same result? Instead of using the C.
Sorry, I didn't get you. I didn't catch that.
Okay, you know where you said for after the vowel, the vowel counts equals 0. You know you have for C.
Yeah.
C there, and we use B. Is it gonna give us the same result?
If I use B, it's going to give me the same result, but I have to change all this one to B.
Yeah.
I can do for Jamie.
Yeah.
I've been
It's just yeah.
I've been mentioning this. Remember, I've
I
been
think that's
mentioning.
why I think that's what she's asking. Yeah, I think that's why she's asking.
Yeah, because it's
Okay.
similar to
Because it's
SQL.
looking
It's
like
similar to
aliasing. It's
SQL.
looking like
Yeah.
aliasing.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
that's
looking
the
like
same thing
aliasing,
we do it
even though
in
it's not
SQL.
aliasing. It's looking like it because whoever it is, it's like you're saying everything that follows, in Word represents P at that point. So for
Okay.
Jamie now, in Word, it's saying everything you understand in Word, everything, represents Jamie. I think that's what she's trying to because I
Okay.
was also wondering that. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So look at this now. I told you about variable. You could use anything, when it comes to looping. What's your name? That's the person that just spoke apart from Jamie.
Oh, Adeze.
Adeze. So I can decide to use Adeze here in Word. Or maybe I use the first part of your name, AD, in words. It's just a name. You're just trying to say if Adeze is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a variable name. So you're just using this name. You can use anything here. So if we say Jamie now, A, the actual name that we're interested in is this, right? This is what we're interested in. So this is our interest. So wherever we assign for it to be, it does not matter. So we are saying Jamie should be J. I think it's more confusing now. So let's stick to I. Yeah, let's go back to I. Using Jamie now makes it a bit complicated more.
I
So let
don't
me use.
think it's complicated because from what you said, I understood everything. It's
Yeah.
more or less similar to that earlier in SQL because you've said if word is equal to input, enter text, then you assign, now instead of using that word, you now said, okay, instead of repeating the word equal to A or I or word equal to A, blah, blah, blah. So you just shorten it to say, okay, I want that to still be the same. Instead of using word, I want to use it as I. So in that case, it helps you to shorten your commands or your whatever you're adding subsequently. So I think is similar to Elias and SQL. So I understood it perfectly.
Yeah, that was the reason why I asked what the C was, because it was confusing.
Yeah, but now I got it represents the word. It
So
represents
it's a variable letter. You could change it to anything, is it?
exactly.
It doesn't have to be C.
It
Yeah, and
doesn't
it's
have to be C.
representing the word. And that's why you were able to use it if I, because if you change that I, if you don't use it there, if you don't assign it in word, anything in word, that means you have to repeat if word dash dash A or word dash dash A. It makes it complicated.
Yeah, if
But
I
you
can
just
use,
shorten it to I.
yes, I can decide to use if word now in words. You understand? If word in words, sorry.
If you run it, it won't be, it shouldn't go through
It will
because you
go
have
through.
to change the I. Yeah, you have to
Yeah, I will
change
change,
that
yeah, I will
I.
change the I, yeah.
Exactly. So it's
I will change
yes, it's similar thing we have in SQL kind of thing. Because I'm
exactly, yeah.
trying to compare it with what we've learned so far.
Okay. Yeah, I think thank you so much. So we're changing, let me just use word now. Words, we have words, which is Jamie Asani. Then we're now saying if word in words. That means we only have one word in iterating through each words that we have there. And if we run this, we want to pass in. So what we're trying to do here is that if this word is A, it should, let me highlight this. Here, it should count. We initialize this borrower count to 0. So it should keep adding 1. If it sees any word, first one is we check 1, add 1. Then if we go through the Jamie now, let's say we go through Jamie now. If you go through Jamie now, if it sees there is no J here, so it's going to be 0. If it sees A here, word as A, it will count 1. It will add 1 to this. Vowel is going to be 1. M, there is no 1, so it's going to be 1. Hi, do we have I there? It's going to count I, but it's not going to, because it's uppercase, it will be 0. If it sees E, it will be 2. It will add to that 1. 1 plus 1 again, 2. If you go to, after getting to A, so 1 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 3, right? 3, after 3, it will check that it's X, no S. It's going to be 3. If we get to A, after getting to A, it will check if we have A, it's going to be 4. After checking, getting to N, there is no N there. It's going to be 4. Do we have I? It's going to be 4. So let's run it. Let's see the results. Let's see what is going to happen. So it's checking through one after the other to see the result, so let's run it. Okay, it's running the initial one. So let's do, okay, Jamie Asani. Can you see? 4. Can you see the 4 dimension? You remember? So it's going through Jamie. It's checking if Jamie has A, because they are all up lowercase. So if Jamie, but most of the time I would have loved us to have lowercase, but it does not matter because we could intentionally say Jamie should be, let's run again. Jamie could be Jamie like this. Asani. Let me use the Asani last one as capital. Then let me put this one as, okay, yeah, that's fine. So Jamie Asani, I, then J capital. So let's run it. If we run it, it's going to be 5 now because we've already picked I as capital. Initially, it was not capital, so it's going to add. So what this is doing is that we've initialized to 0. So it's going to count, it's going to check this condition if it's met. So check the first one, A in Jamie, 1. So there's no J, right? We don't have J in this condition. So it's not going to add anything. It's going to go through A. We have A. That's first one, 1. Then it's going to go through M. There's no M. So it's still 1. It's going to go through I. There's no I. Small letter I here. So it's going to be 1. It's going to go through E. We have small E. 2. It's going to go through A. Small A. 3. S. There's no S. So it's going to be 3. It's going to go through A again. That's 4. It's going to go through N. There's no N here in the condition. 4. And it can see I, the big I, which is this. That is 5. That's where we have 5 vowels. Does that make sense? Can you see it's listing it? A, E, A, I. It's listing it. Does that make sense? So we're doing the counting using this, and we are listing them using this because it's filtering them out from the name. Good?
Good.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to jump this. Not necessary we cover. So I'm not going to cover that. So let's go through break. We are almost rounding up. So break, already we are familiar with list. So I created this as a list, but I didn't call the name of the list. you could maybe intentionally say num lists or Jamie list like I've been using. We have num underscore lists equals to this. Just copy this, copy it just to streamline your code, and you pass this one as num underscore list. So this is the list. Good. So for I in list, we are looking through each one. For 12 in list, num list, for 16 in this list, for 17 in this list, for 24 in this list, for 19, it's going through one after the other. So if when you divide I by 2, we expect it to give us remainder 1. When you see this percentage, it means you are dividing and it's giving you remainder 1. So the remainder should be 1. If this condition is met, break. Else, it should continue. So if this condition is met, you could continue this and continue your coding and print. So that's why you see print here. So it should continue. So it's out of that condition, and it will break there. If anything is outside there, if this condition is not fulfilled, it should continue. So now, if this divided by 2 gives us remainder 1, anything that will give you remainder 1, it means it's an even number. Whenever you divide a number by a 2 and it gives you a remainder 1, it means the number is an odd number. Sorry, odd number rather. So if it's 0, remainder 0 is an even number. So in this case, we expect our even number. We expect us to print an even number. Let's say I put 25, 30. Oh, sorry, 25, 30, 49, and this. So if we run this one now, so every okay, something is sorry. So let's run this. I'm coming. So some num lists and lists. So let's see what's happening here. So we have if I is, when you divide by 2 is equal to 1, break. Then print I. So print done. So print I here. So it goes through this. So it goes through this 17, 24. I'm expecting. Oh, yes. Now, so what is happening here is that, you know why this break, what it does is that immediately it sees anything odd here, it's going to break. The code will not continue. So look at it. We have let's say 12 divided by 2. There is no remainder, right? It's going to go through, right? So it's going to, so it's going to break. So, but if there is any else information, it's going to continue. So, for example, now here, immediately it checks here, say remainder one break, then it prints anything outside it. That's 12, then 16. Then immediately it gets to the condition when the condition is now fulfilled here, because the condition we set here is when it's remainder 1. So 17 divided by 2 is what? 8. That's 8 times 2, 16, remainder 1. So immediately it sees this condition, what happens? It breaks. The code will not work anymore, and it's going to write done. So for example, let me delete 17 now. You will see it's going to work. It's going to iterate through 24. And let me do 18 here. And when it gets to 25, it's going to stop. So let's do it this way. Let's run it now. Can you see? 12, 16, 24, 18. 12, 16, 24, 18. But immediately it gets to where you have remainder 1, what happens? It breaks and it will not continue. So we won't be able to proceed for that. So that's the function of break. So break helps you to quickly catch error in your code. If there's any bug, it will just stop the process. So in that case, you could maybe write a statement to debug any issue within the code so that all developers will be, sent, be notified, and they will know that, oh, okay, something is happening. This could the process stop along the way using that break statement.
Sorry. Just a little question here. Hold on. Is there any reason why we're using percentage sign for the
No,
divided by 2?
It's part of Python. Divided by 2 means you are calculating remainder.
Yeah, I mean, that's because I'm saying percentage, the sign of the percentage is eyes.
Yeah, the person understand. It's not, you have division. If you say divided by,
Yeah,
it
we
did
had
be
that.
divided. But when you want to capture remainder, you use percentage. Then you can now put the remainder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense now because I was wondering why we're using 1 as remainder 1, and then
Okay.
why the percentage, because like I said, because you already know all these things,
Yeah.
you're able to just go ahead with it and just, for us, it can be complicated because okay, I'm saying percentage where we use the slash earlier on, and then I'm
Yeah.
saying equals 1, and I'm wondering why are we using equals 1, but then I can see it's a remainder, but then we don't understand the logic. But now you're explaining it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry if I didn't make it clear. Yeah. So it's part of, percentage is used for checking remainder. You use it to, let's say we have millions of records and you want to pick out those ones with the odd numbers, even numbers. You understand? You will use something like this to capture it. Or you want to capture something that will have remainder free. It doesn't matter if you understand. You could use remainder free. You understand? Can you see? So it went further from here because this one it does not. When you use 25 divided by 2, it's not going to be remainder free, right? So it was able to go through completely. So if I use this one divided by 4 now, let's see if it's going to be remainder free. Something will change. Something has changed. Oh, something didn't change. Okay, let's say the divided by 2, remainder 2. Let's see. Can you see remainder 2? So it's going through 4 divided by 12, 3, remainder 0, right? So it's okay. So this one, 4 divided by 16, that's 4 remainder 0. 4 divided by this, that's 6 remainder 0. 4 divided by this. 4 divided by this is now 16 remainder 2. Can you see it stopped? Immediately it gets here and it sees remainder 2, it stops, break, and it will not continue the remaining process. Did I explain better?
Yes, you did. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay, you're
Yes.
welcome.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you. So the same thing is applicable to this also, the same process. So I don't think we need to spend time on some of these. I would have loved to. I think I think we've come to the end of the class. So next week I will start from here. I will cover the remaining part that we have. So so I will just introduce this part, then we jump into the world of PySpark. So we've finished with the loop and iteration. Then if possible, I should be able to generate like a project for everyone, then for that you will submit at the end of the whole section.